So I'm moving to Brisbane today, and if you're watching this video on YouTube, you will see that my entire life is in the back of this car. I am literally currently on the highway on my way to Brisbane. It is a 6-hour drive from where I was living in New South Wales to Brisbane in Queensland, and I want to talk about it because leading up to this point has been a very turbulent emotional roller coaster. So for those of you who aren't aware, I did like a 3-month trial in Brisbane at the start of this year, and I also did a 3-month trial in the Gold Coast at the end of last year. And the reason that I did that is because I wasn't sure if I wanted to live in the Gold Coast or in Brisbane, and I'd never lived in either. And something that I learned a while ago when I did an entire year of therapy is that I have abandonment wounds, and part of the trauma response of abandonment wounds is unintentionally or subconsciously creating chaos in your life. Because if you're someone who struggles with abandonment, it's usually as a result of chaos in your life. Maybe you had an abusive parent, maybe you had a tumultuous home environment, and I didn't actually know that those two things were linked. I guess that's why you go to therapy. And so as a result of that trauma or my trauma response and the way that I personally created chaos in my life is I have moved every single year for my entire adult life. So I actually went to boarding school from year 7 to year 12, so 12 years old to 18 years old. And after boarding school, I lived in college on campus at university for 2 years. And then every year after that, I have moved. Now that could be houses within like a similar area, or it could also be, which is what I did, like I moved to Portugal for a year, I moved to Melbourne for a year. If you're not Australian, Melbourne is in a different state. I spent several months living in America. Like I just said, I did a year in Portugal. I spent many years in Sydney, but moving every year. And if you've ever moved houses, you know how much it sucks. To be completely honest with you, the reason that I thought that I did that was because I'm a Sagittarius and I'm really free-spirited. And that's actually even hilarious to say that because I don't even fully know or understand star signs, but from a young age, people told me that I am like a true Sagittarian, and so I just believe them. And a Sagittarian or a Sagittarius person is very adventurous and free-spirited. And so when I moved around all the time, and when I was so happy to live out of a suitcase, and when I just on a whim moved to Portugal, I thought it was just because I was adventurous and free-spirited. And whilst I am, I now understand after therapy that I was actually trying to create chaos in my life, and I have this huge resistance to settling. And I find it so hard to even think about being in one spot for several years. My brain just does not fucking compute to that. So for the last 4 years, I have lived in one spot. And because of learning about this trauma response, I have actually forced myself to stay. There's also been other factors like COVID, for example, financial reasons. If you know, I burnt down my business and struggled financially for a little while. So there's other reasons too, but one of the biggest reasons is that I essentially forced myself to stay somewhere to break this pattern of creating internal chaos, and by moving all of the time and struggling with this concept of settling. And when I went through this therapy, the way that I would describe it is I feel so uncomfortable planting my roots. If I was to picture myself as if I was a tree, I feel so uncomfortable allowing my roots to settle in. And wherever I went, I found it easy to make friends because I'm quite a friendly person, but I would find it really hard to create deep friendships because I never thought that I was staying anywhere for a long period of time. And so when I stayed where I've been living for 4 years and actually made some really great friends, I was essentially forcing myself to feel comfortable settling or staying somewhere for an extended period of time. Because the other thing that I've realized is that every time I moved, particularly if it was an overseas move or like quite a drastic move interstate or something, I was actually running away from my problems. What happens though is your problems come with you. It doesn't matter where you go, you still take your head with you and your problems are still the fucking same. So it doesn't matter if you're on the other side of the world, it doesn't matter where the fuck you are. You need to sort out your fucking problems because they stay with you. So when I trialed the Gold Coast and then Brisbane, my purpose behind that was to not do what I've done before, which is throw myself in the deep end, create all of this chaos, make it really fucking hard for myself, and essentially live through that subconscious trauma response. My trial periods were me feeling like I was doing something in the healthiest way possible. And by that, I mean in a way where I was breaking those patterns, doing it in a way that was not completely throwing myself in the deep end, but rather just taking one step, knowing that I was only going to be there for 3 months or 12 weeks. And by doing that, it actually allowed me to enjoy myself far more because I was only taking a few steps outside of my comfort zone and allowing myself to trial it. When I found out that I really liked it, I've had every intention of going back. It's just taken a few more months than I ever anticipated to get back up north. And now I'm quite literally going there right now. And as I said at the start, the last couple of days or even weeks have been such an emotional roller coaster. I have cried so many times. And when people ask me how I'm feeling, I'm like, the words that want to come out are I'm scared or I'm nervous, but that's actually not entirely true. There's nothing really to be scared about. There's nothing really to be nervous about because I've been there before. I have friends up there. I know what I'm getting myself into. I know that I like the area. Probably more the feeling that I'm feeling is just discomfort because where I was living, I was so deeply inside of my comfort zone. I had my mum there, I had friends in the gym, my work is pretty comfortable, and so everything was really comfortable. And so because I was so deep in my comfort zone, to even take one little step outside of it, it feels, I want to say scary, but it's not scary. It feels uncomfortable because it's outside of my comfort zone. And that is actually the reason why I need to do this, because you cannot grow inside of your comfort zone. If you're comfortable, you're not growing. I do believe that it is important to have periods of your life where you do sit inside of your comfort zone because it allows you to ground yourself. I've needed the last couple of years to ground myself and to break this pattern and this cycle and to stop feeling such internal chaos and actually just feel really grounded and comfortable. That has been important for me. However, now it's really fucking important to get outside of my comfort zone and to grow as a human and to expand and evolve and enter the next evolution of my life. But that doesn't take away the fact that it feels really fucking scary. It feels uncomfortable. I can't think of a better word. And I'm gonna really miss my mum and I'm gonna really miss my dog. If you are listening to this or watching this and you know anything about Teddy, you will know that he is my absolute fucking world. However, what you might not know is he's not actually my dog. So my brother and I bought him for my mum for her birthday. And when he was born, my mum was stuck in lockdown in Sydney, and so I actually went to collect him, and she was stuck in lockdown for several months. So I looked after him for the first 3 months that we had him. And then when she came home, of course, she got to know him, and he is actually her dog. But since I've looked after him, he's my dog too. She's gone on several 5 to 6 week long overseas holidays where I've just looked after him, and I'm gonna miss that little turd burger so much. He's the best dog, and he's like my little shadow, and honestly that's probably the hardest part. I'm gonna miss my mum as well, but you can call your mum, or you can, get in the car and go and see your mum, and of course you can see Teddy, but you can't call Teddy. Dogs are such a feelings thing. They're just the best little companions, so I'm really going to miss him being my shadow. I'm really going to miss him just being a little cheeky boy. I fucking love that dog so much. So I'm going to miss him a lot. I really am. But something that I need to acknowledge is that for the first time, maybe ever, or at least in a very long time, I'm actually running towards my goals, not running away from my problems. And that is such a different feeling, and it's such a different approach, and it's such a different mindset, and it's such a different way to approach this. Like, whilst I feel nervous or scared or uncomfortable or jumping outside of my comfort zone, I'm actually also incredibly excited. I just haven't felt that yet, because as you're closing one chapter, you're feeling the emotions of closing that chapter. And whilst I'm en route currently, I'm not yet there, and I feel like the excitement might come when I'm opening the next chapter, aka like unpacking all of this shit in the back of my car and finding my new coffee shop and finding my new walking route and finding, where I do my groceries and getting into my new routine and all of those really exciting parts of moving cities and states. So I am incredibly excited. I just don't think I feel that excitement just yet, because I'm still en route and I'm still thinking about closing this chapter behind me versus feeling excited about opening this new chapter ahead of me. In saying that, I'm actually incredibly proud of myself for getting myself to a position where I'm no longer running away from my problems. There's still a lot of things that I need to improve in my life, but I'm now at a point where I've done a lot of inner work, that, like I said, I'm not running away from my problems. It's such a different mindset and approach to like running towards your goals. So the reason why I wanted to move is I was living in a small coastal rural town, and it is fucking stunning. It is so beautiful. And it was like the perfect place for me to heal from heart. Like, I moved there from Melbourne after I broke up with my partner, who I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with. So that took a good 14 months to heal from. Obviously COVID happened, and so I was in lockdown. And because of the town that I was in, our lockdowns were pretty chill. And then, if you know anything about my story, you know that I shut down my business. Dramatically, I say that I burnt it to the ground, which is definitely what it felt like, and I fell into rock bottom, depression, had suicidal ideation. It was pretty fucking grim for a while there. Then I was struggling financially, and I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't think that I should be a coach because I'd fucked up and gained weight and was out of integrity entirely, so that's why I stopped coaching. And then I was like, but if I'm not a coach, what do I fucking do? I have a town planning degree, so I went to uni for 5.5 years and I got a Bachelor of Town Planning, so I could have gone back to do that, but that made me want to fucking stab my eyeballs with a fork, so I didn't want to do that. And I'm like, well, if I don't do that and I'm not a coach, which is like the skills that I have, what the fuck do I actually do? And so then I had a midlife crisis at late 20s, not knowing what the fuck to do with my life, not knowing what I should do for work. not knowing anything really. So that all happened, and then I was able to really turn that around and heal and grow and evolve and improve myself and re-lose weight and restart my business, and now it's doing pretty well again, and I'm really excited about growing that. And so I needed to get out of a small town. I mean, it's not that small anymore, it's probably like 70,000 people, but I needed to grow, evolve, expand, spread my wings, as they say. And you couldn't pay me to go to Sydney, you couldn't pay me to go to Melbourne, and in Brisbane is my powerlifting coach, which is something that I'm really passionate about. It makes me feel fucking amazing, and I really like Brisbane as a city. I think it's a fucking sick city. It is full of really nice people, it's just got good energy there. It kind of feels like where I lived, but bigger. It feels like a big country town, which I love, because that is definitely not what Sydney feels like. Sydney is just full of, sorry if you're from Sydney, but full of fucking wankers. So I needed to go somewhere. I knew that I had to move. And to be completely honest with you, I've only said this out loud to like 2 people, so whoever's listening or watching this, welcome to my inner circle. But I'm really ready to meet someone. I've had like 4 years off dating. I've been on a couple of dates, but like barely any. And I really used that time to improve myself and to work on my self-worth and to make myself like whole and complete, and learn to love my own company and to learn to really look after myself and to know that I'm worthy of love, which is something that I've struggled with for my entire life, based on growing up really overweight and being bullied by men, being called really gross names by men, not having a good male role model in my life. And so I really struggled with my relationship with men. Anyway, that's probably like an entire another conversation. Point being, I spent the last 4 years really healing all of that and my self-worth. And now I feel really ready to meet someone. I'm 32. I've got a ticking fucking biological clock inside of me. I would love to have kids. And I just know that I'm not going to meet him in a small town. It's very slim pickings in that town. And sometimes you have to put yourself in an environment where things can work for you. Environment matters. When we're talking about our health, like, the environment that you're in is fucking important. If you're trying to lose weight and you have junk, chips, lollies, fucking cookies, all kinds of shit in the cupboard, it's going to be really fucking hard for you to lose weight. You have to create your environment to support your goals. And to be completely honest with you, one of my goals, it sounds weird to call it a goal, but like one of my intentions at the moment is to find a partner. Not because I'm desperate, not because I need a fucking man to do anything for me, but because I would like one. Because I'm at that stage in my life now where I would really like to attract my husband and the father of my baby. So I have to put myself in an environment that is conducive to that intention. And knowing that it's not there just means that essentially I'm like not wasting away my time, because that's not actually true, but it just means that I am choosing essentially to not be in an environment that aligns with my intentions. And so part of the reason for moving is because that is sort of the next chapter of my life. And I'm now putting myself in an environment where I would be open, or that, you know, there's possibility of that happening. Then of course the next step is I have to fucking put myself out there, and that's scary as fuck, but we'll talk about that when that starts to happen. But my point is, I need to be proactive about being somewhere that I might meet someone, because that's important to me. Second reason is work opportunities. I really want to start running workshops and running in-person events, and that's hard to do when you live in a relatively low socioeconomic town. Bit divided. There is a lot of wealth there. Plus, just in terms of size, like, you know, going to a bigger city or going to a city is going to, again, put me in an environment where I have the ability to do better than in a small town. So all of these things are reasons that align with the goals that I have right now. Growing my business, helping women transform, helping women with their mindset, helping women become the best version of themselves, finding a husband, powerlifting. So essentially, I'm taking this action. I'm putting myself outside of my comfort zone so that I'm putting myself in an environment that is conducive to my goals, that is conducive to the next chapter of my life, that is conducive to what I want for myself. And if you are not willing to do that, then you're gonna find it really fucking hard to actually achieve your goals. This car keeps speeding up, slowing down, taking over. It's crazy. So if you have a goal or a dream and you're really fucking scared of it and it feels uncomfortable because it's outside of your comfort zone and it feels really scary, or you're scared, fearful, or you're nervous, just know that I'm there with you. But also just know that no one is coming to save you. No one is coming... Why is that making me emotional? No one is coming to make change for you. No one is coming to force you to do anything. Even the people that love you the most, it's actually not their job to do shit for you. Like, yes, they can support you. Yes, they can love on you and want the best for you. But it's not their job to fucking make you do it. It's not their job to get you off the fucking couch, to make you go for a walk. It's not their job to cook you a healthy meal. It's not their job to move you to fucking interstate. It's no one else's job. Your life is your responsibility. And if you want something, you have to go and fucking make it happen. And do it scared. Do it fucking scared. Do it scared. It's not comfortable. It is a bit scary. But what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is I don't like it and I can go home. And that is not fucking a bad scenario. That is truly fine. Not ideal, but it's fine. So if you have a goal or a dream or an intention, or if there's something that you want for yourself, go and fucking do it. Do it scared and make it fucking happen. Because no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to do it for you. And it's actually no one else's responsibility to make that happen for you. It's your responsibility and your responsibility alone. And it's on you. So I recorded that video several weeks ago. My phone actually decided to overheat. It was sitting in direct sunlight, hence why that video just like fucking cut. But as you may be able to see, I have now moved interstate. I am currently sitting in my new office. And in tomorrow's episode, I'm going to be talking about the lessons that I have learned since moving. I just wanted to wrap this video up because it ended very abruptly. So just know the move went well. We are here. We are settled. Thank you for listening. I hope that this helped in some way, shape, or form, and I will catch you tomorrow.